Let's head back to Libya, where our senior international correspondent Dan Rivers has an update now on the story of Shwega Mullah. Now, she's the nanny who says that she was brutalized while caring for the children of Hannibal Gadhafi. Dan joins us now live from Tripoli. Dan, you've been visiting her in the hospital. How's she doing? What did she tell you?
She's doing okay. I mean, just to recap for people who are not familiar, this is a nanny who looked after the children of Hannibal Gadhafi, who was terribly burnt by, she says, by Hannibal's wife, Aileen, boiling water poured over her head. We've got some fresh picture of her now. She's in the burns unit in Tripoli Hospital. This is very graphic images. I must warn viewers before we roll it, but you can see now that she's got a dressing on and they're beginning to treat it. They say there is an infection there, so they're giving her antibiotics intravenously and hopefully trying to stabilise those infections and get her on the mend. So she's in a much better place now than she was when we initially found her. When we found her, she was just on a mattress on the floor in the compound of Hannibal Gadhafi's house. And of course, we're going to stay with this story and keep everyone updated as to what happens. And we've been, inundated with offers of help, so that's great. And we're trying to kind of sift through those and figure out what's the best thing for her.
Gosh, Dan, poor thing. I'm glad she's doing better. Let's just focus on one of the other stories, which is the Gadhafi family in Algeria now. Why Algeria?
Yeah, I mean, well, firstly, geographically, there's a huge kind of porous border over to Algeria. The Algerians have not recognised the National Transitional Council yet, so I suppose there was a sense that they are, in some ways, still friendly with the now fallen Gadhafi regime. We're told by the Algerians that Hannibal Gadhafi, who you mentioned in connection with the nanny, another son, Mohammed, Aisha, the daughter, and Saifa, the wife, have all crossed over into Algeria. There's no word yet on whether Aileen as well, the woman who is alleged by this nanny to have poured the boiling water over her, has also crossed into Algeria, or whether she is elsewhere. We just don't know where she is at the moment. But that's the latest that we have on them. Obviously, the big question that is left unanswered is, where is Colonel Gadhafi himself? Has he also crossed over and the Algerians aren't saying? Or is he elsewhere, somewhere in the south, perhaps, or in Sirte? We simply don't know, I'm afraid.